Hi, welcome to my journey. Well, I woke up late today. It was like, I don't care if they have a crochet class this morning because yesterday, I went batshit crazy trying to get to the crochet class that was at another location at a different time. And it was like, no, we're not, this isn't a treasure hunt just to do that when you already know that all you need to do is to create a pattern. Even if you cut it out as a piece of paper, you can basically follow that pattern and still get results. They might not be somebody else's results, but they'll be your results. But anyway, I did not. I woke up around 11, just before 11. So definitely a late start. Partly because I woke up around 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m. And for some reason, felt like I needed to have a sandwich. So I did. I had me a jalapeno bagel with turkey meat and cheese on it, and I ate it at 2:30 in the morning and went to sleep. Now, after I opened up my eyes, I tried to analyze, what the hell is going on? Hold on. And, of course, I know it was part of my rebellious nature to say, this is the whole purpose of consistency, right? So I'm sitting up here mad at this lady, because they had said, hey, somebody volunteered or did whatever and said that, they wanted to crochet session. And then come to find out it didn't work out. Who knew? Who knew? Obviously, I didn't know, the information that was sent out to the seniors. I don't know if they knew, but word gets around pretty good. Word of mouth sometimes is faster than if they had actually sent out a bulletin. But I didn't get the bulletin. All right. So I'm laying there, and the next thing you know, I'm like, these exercises that I've been doing at the gym is really making me feel some kind of way about my stomach, and it's good, right? So I'm like, why don't I just get up and go and try to do 15-20 minutes of these ab exercises, since they're doing so much good to your abdominal area. Because I'm telling you, I was almost tempted to take a picture of the results, because the results seems like I was not getting doing the aerobics. I was not getting doing the lightweight exercises. Yeah, there was some changes, but it wasn't results. And if I feel like if I do this, I'm getting results. So I'm on my way back to the gym, looking for results. Yeah, he's out here walking his dog again today. But you gotta walk your dog every day. They're like babies. You got to. You can't just go when you want to. And so I'll probably walk the dogs later on today sometime. But right now, at 1 o'clock, it's 85 degrees. Definitely hot. I don't need my doggies out here in this hot weather, you know. So I decided, I'm going to fix my protein drink with coffee in it. Creatine, collagen, and fiber. And at least know if I exercise and get my protein and nutrients in every day, that I made progress. That feels like progress to me. Exercise and nutrition, progress. Yeah. I'm still waiting on my phone. I'm hoping it shows up today. I would have thought it to be, miraculous if it showed up yesterday. Right? If they would have just went ahead and put it in the mail. But chances are they waited till the end of the day, put it in the mail to go out today. And I might get it today, or I might get it tomorrow. Right? And like I said, just thank God I have another phone. I do want to get back to crocheting something because, it's still too hot in the house, to do really any major activities. I might clean up a little bit. I am getting a little tired of cleaning up the shit. Next week, Gracie, she goes for her last round of shots. That was one thing that I was wondering, why none of Americans even consider that these illegal immigrants coming into the country are not vaccinated. They are not vaccinated. They're bringing all kinds of who knows what into our country. And I've been thinking about that for a long time. It's like, why aren't people thinking about the health concerns? Is it ignorance? Yeah, it's definitely ignorance. Because I know in order for me to travel to another country, because I have, you're supposed to find out what vaccinations you need to take before entering into that country. You take those vaccinations, right? Not everybody can survive the vaccinations, okay? Not everybody can handle those vaccinations. If you get a reaction from those vaccinations, that means that country is off limits to you. And yet, you have these ignorant fools running around here, not getting vaccinated, running around from country to country, spreading who knows what, right? Biocontamination, for sure. Biocontamination just doesn't have to be sexual. It can also just be because we have thousands of microorganisms, parasites, leeches just living on our bodies. Bacteria, viruses, right? But they're symbiotic to us, right? And then when they're not, that's when we get ill. And then we had to go to the doctor. And different climates have different type of bacteria and viruses and microorganisms. Even if you're an American and you're going from state to state, you have to be careful. If they say declare any fruits and foods, at the border, you need to declare it, because you could be bringing in who knows what. And this includes seeds, right? So that's why, I'm really on the fence when you start talking to me about organic. Like, organic? That's cool if I'm going to just stay in this region. But organic, in my opinion, isn't cool if, you're a traveler. Right? And I told her, I said, look, I'm not native to Texas. I make sure I kill my food before I eat it. Unless it's vegetables. All right. But I even try to cook the vegetables. But anyway, I'm almost here. So I was watching this one video of this lady, and I love the way, women are showing these men that, yes, we can be delicate flowers, but we also can be very resilient and adaptable, and these women are out here living in vehicles, and exercising and getting their nutrients in. And these are things that men were acting like, oh, we couldn't do. You can't survive, right? And yet, year after year, we've been showing them we're surviving. Park over here in the shade. Yes, we're surviving. Some of us are surviving in mobile homes. Some of us are surviving as a hobo. We have to be on the move because, they made it to where, we couldn't sustain ourselves with a job. Being harassed at the workplace, and being harassed even in our neighborhoods. Right? And I just love the way women are like, oh, you thought we couldn't work out? You thought we couldn't, get muscles and be strong and stuff like that? We have a lot of women out here working out, sculpted bodies. Will put men to shame. Okay? And they're not professionals. They're doing it because they're proving a point. And the men are not clapping. They're not, oh yay, you look so fantastic and strong and lean and and can they get you a recipe? Can you give them a prescription? They're sitting back resentful. Yes, they are. They're sitting back trying to figure out how they could tell you to be more sculpted. And you're looking at them like, you're a little chunky, man. And it's really hard for a woman to be sculpted because she needs to have a teeny weeny waist. For men, if they have a 32-inch waist, they're considered fit. But a woman, she got to have like a 20, a 24, a 20, 25, a 26-inch waist. Then she has to have a dimension of at least 10 inches for her bust and 15 inches for, her hips. But I just love the fact that the women are showing them, even though the men aren't looking. As soon as they see a woman, they looking the other way. They start asking, are you a man or a woman? Are you a man or a woman? And in a way, that's understandable too, because a lot of these men, you know, are taking, transgender hormones because they want to look beautiful. They want to look pretty. Okay? So, yesterday I did go shopping. I put, my dry goods into containers. I put my meat into the freezer. That way I wouldn't be feeling like I had to hurry up and cook it, even though I wasn't ready to eat it. And I was very proud of myself for doing that because, typically in the past, I guess that's why we do go for, the packaging at stores. But because I didn't go to a store for packaging and I went to Winco's and bought it in bulk and had to put it in plastic bags, then I had to come up with, oh my gosh, how am I going to store this food? Now, I did have some containers, some glass containers. And that's good because, like I said, when I found out, the rats was after my dog food, the rats was after the rice. I was like, what kind of, new breed of rats are these? That they would burrow, through the plumbing. They follow the plumbing just to find the smallest little hole and then, eat away at the sheetrock just to get in to find some fucking rice. Because they ain't getting no other kind of food. They're not getting nothing else, because, I guess, when it comes to food that has to be, preserved, they're not getting that. But I never thought the rice had to be preserved. So this year, for sure, the rice, the sugar, the flour, all of that has to be well preserved. Because just like for us, food prices was inflated, and if food prices are inflated, we can assume that there's a food scarcity. We can assume that, right? Right now, this week, food prices are trying to compete with, Amazon Prime, and people are shopping for upcoming holidays. I really don't think holidays are really going to be the same. You know, I just don't. Of course, there are going to be people nostalgic about the way things were and try to make it happen. But, the feelings, believe me, are going to be completely different. It's going to feel like people are cosplaying because it's like, we're trying to keep up a tradition that's not being supported, by our government. And even if it was supported by our government, it's not being supported by our local business owners, because those are two different things. A lot of people want to think that, the government controls everything. No, we have a lot of business owners in our local area that, are controlling. Just like I said before, if Trump says he's going to put tariffs, you know, on foreign imports, the local business people, you know, made a a broadcast. Oh, you gonna put tariffs on there, and we're gonna lose money. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, and so they decided, that they was gonna just raise the prices even before Trump even made a move to do it, and people were suffering. And these are your local business owners. These are the same ones that keep saying, buy local, buy local. Right? So it seems like some of them are going back to, these older prices, are dropping their prices, realizing, that they were acting out of fear. They're not going to apologize for what they did, but they're just going to realize that they were acting out of fear, and they were punching down to the people who were poorer than them in retaliation of, having to change their lifestyle, because Trump is trying to let these other countries know that they're not going to get over on America. And, when you think about it in terms of personalizing that system of thinking, it's like self-preservation first, right? Self-preservation. It's one thing not to be worried about self-preservation and your 10 of coins, right? You have enough to give this way and that way, right? But then if nobody's giving you back, and anything in return, you're going to drop down to a 9 or an 8. And even at an 8, you're trying to help out somebody that's suffering. Now you dropping down to a 7. Now you back in a state where you're trying to figure out what you can invest in to get you back into a stabilized situation. Okay? But people aren't seeing it that way, even though they think they're seeing it that way. Right? They might be thinking about it in terms of it within the moment. They're not thinking about it in terms of the minute or the hour or the day or the year. They don't have the ability to think about it in those terms. Anyway, I'm gonna go and get some workout done. Okay, these are the machines that I've been working on. This is called the ab coaster. Then I've been working on the leg press, This is the one I really love. I don't even know what it's called. This one right here is definitely an ab cruncher. And then I've been working on this one right here, which is the back extension. I need to get me some 15-pound weights right here, 15 pounds, and I can work out really well with those.